Hey, hey, how y'all doing? I hope everybody's feeling good and great. Why the fuck I feel like I got a frog in my throat? But anyway, I hope everybody's feeling good and great and all that little shit. But anyway, y'all know how I do it. I just jump right into it. So, I'm going through these YouTube streets and I seen Funny Marco and NBA Youngboy. Now, I don't know much about NBA Youngboy. I do know there are a couple of songs that I do like by him. But I feel like it was probably going to be like an interesting interview, right? Him being Yaya's baby daddy. And, I thought he got like 9 kids or some shit like that or something like that. So, anyway, so what they were talking about, they was talking about growing up in a home, mothers and fathers, like parenting, and the effects of having both parents and how it had on Funny Marco, and because they both were sharing their intimate thoughts, and NBA Youngboy, the effects of being a parent. So the first one is about mothers. So let's listen to this.
I remember us getting Wi-Fi and the neighbor asked for the password and I gave it to him. And I'd have pissed my mom off. And she always used to just say, like, this is ours. So, and it was always us against them. And she didn't really teach us how to love other people. But I get to experience my grandma. My grandma was more open. My grandma was love in church.
Even though I think my relationship with my mama used to be a big part of my anger. Until I told myself, like, it's just certain shit you can't fix. Like, certain people you're not going to just bond with in a way that you expect or the way that you would desire. Basically just long for and just hope for. So I started loving my mom from a distance. Like, today I never speak to her again. Like, we'll never talk again. I know this for a fact. But I love her. Like, I care. Mm-hmm. I hope she know that too. I want her to know that. It ain't got nothing to do with no dollar. It ain't even got nothing to do with my trauma no more. Or something that I was supposedly angry about. Just love her. Because that's my grandmother's daughter. And I love my grandma deeply.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how you and your grandma relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Did she used to pick you, like, how would she come into your life?
Fucking right. Say it one more time.
So y'all can see, Marco said that, like, his mother never taught him, to share and to be kind, and like she was in defense mode, and it probably was that. When you ain't got it like that, and you are like, what they call it, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Now I don't know if that was your mother's situation, but when you in survival mode, that's what it is. Like, unfortunately, I'm not making no excuses. Most people do be there, like in that mindset, especially if they're not working on their wellness. If they have no clue to that, like your mental, your physical, your spiritual, your financial, your emotional, understanding the importance of a community. Like, you would just. So he said his mother used to, get mad when he would give the neighbors the password to the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And, she just never showed him to be kind enough and whatnot. But he said his grandmother did. See, listen, your grandmother probably was, I don't know. Let's just say. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to say what his grandmother is. Let's not speculate. When you meet your grandmother, and you are her grandchild, you done met a whole nother woman. Because everybody go through different stages in life, right? And so now grandma calm, she cool, she collect, she got wisdom, which is something that a lot of you motherfuckers seem to not like to hone in on. Y'all think that, especially young people, like they know everything and all this old shit. You can't tell them nothing, all this, all that. You know what I'm saying? Before I continue, why this little ugly motherfucker? When I say this little ugly motherfucker, I'm talking about my son. So he had got a check. And so I told him that he had got a check. I opened it and did. Not like that, just to not even fuck how much you made. Like, I'm not asking for no money, none of that shit. Right? It was came in my motherfucking mailbox. You ain't here, so I opened it, right? And he was like, what the fuck he did? What the fuck did he do? Oh, so he had said, he said, oh, it's been here like for a month or something. I said, a month? I said, no, it just got, so that, like, now when he said that, it made me feel like he was trying to question me as if I was trying to, like, hold it or steal something, remember something. Like, that's how I took it. Come to find out, it was a miscommunication. I go around and to where he was. I was like, no, I got to get up in your face and say this shit. Because in my mind, from what I heard, I thought he was saying that I was holding on to a check and not giving it to it because of the date that was on the check. And so, and he gonna say, don't get up in my face. Don't come up in my face. First of all, you don't get to dictate what the fuck goes on up in here and how I move in my shit. Are you crazy? I said, you can leave. So anyway, so we would go through all that, whatever. Then he was like, come to find out, it was a miscommunication. Like, that's not what he said, what I thought I heard. So that's why it's so important to have, like, strong conversations. So whatever. So then later, so we got past that, and then I also had to get up in his face again to tell him, like, look, let me explain something to you. I'm your mother. The dynamics of this relationship is that I'm your mother. Do I respect you? Yeah, but you're not gonna tell me don't get up in your face. What? Now I'm getting up in your face. What you mean? And I said, you act like I'm a person who's trying to hurt you. You act like I'm a person who don't want best for you. Excuse me? Your respect level for me is high. Little boy. Young man, because he's a young man. You know what I'm saying? But, no, we got over that. You know what I'm saying? Because communication is key. So, and also, like, I don't want to know. But anyway, so, NBA Youngboy said that his mom, that he said he would never speak to his mom again. Now, that was a strong ass shit to say. I was like, damn, what the fuck? People be going through things. And also the one thing I can say about NBA Youngboy from this interview was very heartfelt, that he's very wise. He has done some serious growing. You know what I'm saying? I think his perspective on life has blossomed. So he said, he would never speak to his mother again, but he know that he loves her. And he said, I hope that she knows that. And he said that he got his love from his grandmother. Like his grandmother was the one that pretty much raised him. And then he said, he also said that, I love her because, she's my mother's daughter. But he also gave respect to he said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know my mother is my grandmother's daughter. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing I would tell these young men who was having this fabulous conversation that I really enjoyed, and it was very mature and forward thinking and blossoming of life as a man, right? You have to understand, like I already said, is that when you meet your grandmother is at a different stage at her life. I don't know how old your grandmother was. She could have been in her 50s, 60s, whatever the fuck, 20s, 30s, who knows? But you get wise as you grow. Most people get wise. Some people get stagnated, but we ain't talking about them. So, but when a grandmother become a grandmother and she's in these kids' life and she's you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole different type of ball game, because now not only do she have her child is having children, and now like it's a whole different ball game because her mentality is not the same. The way that she raised her daughter is not how she's raising you as a grandson. So y'all need to understand that. And I hope that because both of them said they kind of had like little shaky situations, but I hope that they're able to go to their mother and be able to sit down and have a conversation. I think the conversation was great. I like the vulnerability and all that. But don't give your mother some grace. Give your mother some grace, and thank God for your grandmothers, and I see that they do. But give your mother some grace and sit down and try to have a conversation. And I get it. He said sometimes, like, NBA Youngboy said that sometimes some shit just can't be fixed. It can be. Like my mama always say, and I know everybody done heard this. Time heals all wounds. So let's move on. They also had this conversation about you, dads.
So, I mean, my father, with him being in and out of prison and having much respect, I feel like a lot of people wanted me to follow his footprints. Because once he got taken away, it was just like, that's all I had. And a lot of people wanted me to be like him, but I knew where it end up, and it just wasn't my heart. So I always wanted to take out there what he left, so I was always bringing my little brothers in and carrying them because that's what he wanted me to do. And I know he wasn't a bad guy, but even when he died at his funeral, it was hard for me to cry because I know what he did to people who happened to him. It's part of life.
Right. Yeah, that's how that should be. One time my father, that's like my blessing from God. I always wanted a father. My biological daddy. That's me and his father. His name Jeffrey in jail. Both our name Contrell. I'm the oldest. But I respect my daddy. Even though I barely know him, I respect him and I love him. And I remember from the times I have got the chance to be around him, like it probably was just 3 times out of my whole life, and I was little. I remember everything, like just that I seen from him and shit like that. But I respect my dad. I make sure when I get on the phone with him, I call him father. I don't never let that nigga have no sad moment. Like, I know for a fact, like, I'm always gonna be a highlight to his life. Mm-hmm. Really, all of us. My dad a real gangster. I'm talking about a real gangster.
And do you feel like it was pushed on you to take out his footsteps?
Mm-hmm. Not at all. I'm thankful for how the story went, man. I wouldn't redo shit. I'm thankful for where I am today. And I accepted everything, like, just want to move forward. He'll be home soon. Everything will be okay.
Okay, so they just was talking about fathers and the importance of having a father and the father being in a child's life. Unfortunately, both of their fathers were incarcerated. I don't know how long. Whatever. Both of their fathers wind up in the belly of the beast. It's just showing the importance of how you need to be a part of your to be a parent, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't like blame it on a good woman or nothing like that. You have to learn how to be calm, cool, and collective, especially when you're young. It's when you're young, you shouldn't even be having no children. No way. Your life is to be lived and having a good time. But if you embark on this responsibility, you got to step up to the plate. And I know that's hard, especially if you're young, because you don't know. You figuring your fucking self out. Especially if you don't have nobody there guiding you. That guidance is so important. And so needed. Like Marco said, like, his father, I guess his father was in the streets, and he had to take care of his brothers, and they wanted him to be like his dad, but he said, thank God that he thought for himself, like, and saw the big picture. Like, go fuck, that shit is not good. It's not good for the community. And then whatever he did, it came back, and it took, I don't know what happened, but whatever he was doing, it came back and got him. You know what I'm saying? And now he's no longer here. And with NBA Youngboy, he said that he only remember being with his father 3 times. But his father, I guess he'd been in there for a long time. And they talk on the phone. And he said, and he loved him and stuff like that. And which is great to hear, because I know that makes that man's day to know that. And he put some money on his books, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure. But the point of the fact of the matter is that it is imperative that we, as humans, when we procreate, that you have to step up to the plate. Bars, bitch. But yeah, you really, really do. It's time to put the, like, I feel like running wild and all this other shit. No, now you got a responsibility. Get to it. Get to it. Get to it. So I really, truly enjoyed that conversation. I like how they was vulnerable, how they talked about being parents and fatherhood and their mothers, their fathers. You know? And you know another thing that I noticed too, like when black men, black boys have issues with their mom, the majority of the time, like, they girl does not reflect her, meaning that he get him some sort of Caucasian shit. And look at NBA Youngboy. I don't know about all. Now I don't think all his baby mamas is that. But his fight, but you know, I know a man gonna do what the fuck he gonna do, whatever the fuck. You understand what I'm saying? And people gonna love who they love when they love them. Do money influence it? Yes. Y'all gonna stop playing that game. Cause I'm not saying that that's what's happening with them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. He could be charming. He seemed like he is. Because he done came into himself and, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to NBA Youngboy. Shout out to Funny Marco. Because I love watching Marco's content. I like how this went in a different direction. And how they was vulnerable and speaking on family and the importance of it. Because when you procreate, step up to the plate. Bars, bitch! Y'all go and watch that, for real. You gotta watch the whole shit.